Shalom family. Most believers would say that they trust YAHUAH, and that is how it should be. However, today we want to challenge you with a question. Does YAHUAH trust you? As in, does he consider you trustworthy? Before you answer, we want you to understand that this is a very important question you must ask yourself because a good and solid relationship is built on trust. It's not enough for us to just trust YAHUAH. He should also be able to trust us. If you are not confident in knowing if YAHUAH trusts you, then keep listening and watching. We're going to get into the Word so that you'll know, through scriptural examples, how to be considered trustworthy by our Creator and Father, YAHUAH. What we will be talking about in this video isn't about YAHUAH's love for you or his goodness towards you. It is all about finding out whether he trusts you or not. Let's start with what it means to be trustworthy. Please note that in Scripture, the word trustworthy is interchangeable with the word faithful. According to the Ultimate Bible Dictionary, trustworthy is found under the entry of faith/faithfulness. Faithfulness is dependability or trustworthiness. It is an attribute of both YAHUAH and man, implying loyalty, constancy, which means enduring and unchanging. Trustworthy is an adjective describing someone who is able to be relied on, honest, and dependable.
One of the greatest examples of someone considered to be trustworthy by YAHUAH is our forefather, Abraham. Let's look at Abraham's life through the word of the Most High. We will start in Ibrim, also known as Hebrews. Ibrim, chapter 11, 8 through 10 and verses 17 through 19 reads, "By belief, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he was about to receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By belief, he sojourned in the land of promise as a stranger, dwelling in tents with Yitzchak and Yaʔaqob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking for the city having foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim. By belief, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Yitzchak, and he who had received the promises offered up his only brought forth son, of whom it was said, In Yitzchak your seed shall be called, reckoning that Elohim was able to raise, even from the dead, from which he received him back as a type." We see through these verses that it was Abraham's belief in YAHUAH that called Abraham to listen to him. Not only did Abraham believe YAHUAH, he also obeyed him. His belief was followed by action. YAHUAH told him to leave and move to an unknown land, and he left. In Genesis 17, we see YAHUAH told him to circumcise himself and his complete household of males, and Abraham did it that same day. YAHUAH told him to offer his son on the altar. He loaded the animals with the equipment and his son and headed up the mountain. Yaʔaqob 2:21 through 23 says, "Was not Abraham our father declared right by works when he offered Yitzchak his son on the altar? Do you see that the belief was working with his works, and by the works the belief was perfected? And the scripture was filled, which says, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. And he was called Elohim's friend."
Because of Abraham's obedience, YAHUAH called him righteous, which is also necessary to be considered trustworthy. Bereshith 15:6, "And he believed in YAHUAH, and he reckoned it to him for righteousness." Romiyim 4:3, "For what does the scripture say? Abraham believed YAHUAH, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness." We would like to read from the book of Yobelim. For those who aren't familiar with this book, it is found in the Apocrypha and Pseudepigrapha texts and is sometimes called the Little Genesis. Yobelim 17:15 through 17. "And it came to be in the 7th week, in the 1st year, in the 1st month, in this Yovel, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in the Shamayim regarding Abraham, that he was trustworthy in all that he told him, and that he loved YAHUAH, and that in every affliction he was trustworthy. And the prince Mastema came and said before Elohim, "See, Abraham loves Yitzchak his son, and he delights in him above all other matters. Command him to offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and you shall see if he shall do this command, and you shall know if he is trustworthy in all in which you try him." And YAHUAH knew that Abraham was trustworthy in all his afflictions, for he had tried him through his land and with scarcity of food, and had tried him with the wealth of sovereigns, and had tried him again through his wife, when she was taken, and with circumcision, and had tried him through Ishmael and Hagar, his female servant, when he sent them away.
Yobelim 15:11-13 and 23 and 24. YAHUAH said to Abraham, "And as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your seed after you, and circumcise every male among you, and circumcise your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of an everlasting covenant between me and you. And the child on the 8th day you shall circumcise, every male throughout your generations, he that is born in the house, or whom you have bought with silver from any stranger, whom you have acquired, who is not of your seed. He that is born in your house shall surely be circumcised, and those whom you have bought with silver shall be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting law." And Abraham did accordingly, as Elohim had said to him. And he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with his silver, every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the same day Abraham was circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those whom he had bought with silver from the children of the stranger were circumcised with him. Yobelim 19:2-6 and verses 8 and 9. And in the first year of the 3rd week of this Yovel, the days of the life of Sarah were accomplished, and she died in Hebron. And Abraham went to mourn over her and bury her, and we tried him, if his spirit was patient. But he was not bitter in the words of his mouth. And he was found patient in this, and was not disturbed. For in patience of spirit he spoke with the children of Cath, to the intent that they should give him a place in which to bury his dead. And YAHUAH gave him favor before all who saw him, and he pleaded with the sons of Cath, and they gave him the land of the cave of Machpelah, opposite Mamre, that is, Hebron, for 400 pieces of silver. And they pleaded with him, saying, "We shall give it to you for naught." But he would not take it from their hands for naught, for he gave the price of the place, the silver in full, and he bowed down before them twice. And after this he buried his dead in the cave of Machpelah. This is the 10th trial with which Abraham was tried, and he was found trustworthy, patient in spirit. And he did not speak, not a single word regarding the report in the land, how that Elohim had said that he would give it to him and to his seed after him. And he pleaded a place there to bury his dead. For he was found trustworthy, and was recorded on the tablets of the Shamayim as the friend of Elohim.
We want to stop and take a moment to describe what it means to have a patient spirit, mentioned in Yobelim 19:3. When you are patient in your spirit, you are able to remain calm and composed in the face of delays, difficulties, or provocations, without becoming angry or upset. It is the ability to tolerate adversity or frustration with self-control and calm acceptance, often focusing on long-term goals like eternal Chai or life, rather than immediate gratification. What does this look like? It looks like someone who has a tolerance for delay, one who regulates their emotions, accepts the circumstances, and has self-control. Getting back to what we read in Scripture, here's what we see and learn from Abraham. He listened to YAHUAH. He obeyed YAHUAH quickly. Beings in the Shamayim, heaven, spoke of his trustworthiness. He believed YAHUAH fully. He trusted in YAHUAH's abilities. He was tried first because of YAHUAH, and then because Satan accused him and wanted YAHUAH to test him to prove if he was trustworthy. Perhaps Satan heard all the chatter about Abraham's trustworthiness. He overcame every trial. He remained patient. He was not moved by his trials. He was humble. Because of his trustworthiness, he was considered a friend of YAHUAH. Now we want to interject something about patience. It's important to understand that it is not just about waiting. Patience is the suffering of afflictions, pain, toil, calamity, provocation, or other evil with a calm, unruffled temper, endurance without murmuring or fretfulness. It is a calm temper which bears evils without murmuring or discontent, the quality of bearing offenses and injuries without anger or revenge. It is something that we must cultivate and put into practice.
Let's pick back up in Yobelim, chapter 20, 1 through 3, and verses 7 through 9. And in the 42nd Yovel, in the first year of the 7th week, Abraham called Ishmael and his 12 sons, and Yishkak and his 2 sons, and the 6 sons of Keturah and their sons. And he commanded them that they should observe the way of YAHUAH, that they should work righteousness, and each love his neighbor, and act in this manner among all men, that they should each so walk with regard to them as to do right ruling and righteousness on the earth, that they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant which he had made with them, and not deviate to the right hand or the left of all the paths which YAHUAH had commanded us, and that we should guard ourselves from all whoring and uncleanness. I implore you, my sons, love the Elohim of the Shamayim, and you cling to all his commands, and do not walk after their idols and after their uncleannesses, and do not make for yourselves molded or carved mighty ones, for they are worthless, and there is no spirit in them, for they are work of hands, and all who trust in them trust in naught. Do not serve them nor worship them, but you serve the Most High El, and worship him continually, and trust in his face always, and work of rightness and righteousness before him, that he may have pleasure in you, and grant you his kindness, and send rain upon you morning and evening, and barak all your works which you have wrought upon the earth, and barak your bread and your water, and barak the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your land, and the herds of your cattle, and the flocks of your sheep.
Yobelim 21, 1 through 5. And in the 6th year of the 7th week of this Yovel, Abraham called Yishkak his son, and commanded him, saying, I have become old, and do not know the day of my death, and am full of my days. And see, I am 175 years old, and throughout all the days of my life I have remembered YAHUAH, and sought with all my heart to do his desire, and to walk uprightly in all his ways. My being has hated idols, that I might observe to do the desire of him who created me. For he is the living Elohim, and he is Kodesh and trustworthy, and he is righteous beyond all. And with him there is no partiality and no accepting of bribes, for Elohim is righteous, and executes right ruling on all those who transgress his commands and despise his covenant. And you, my son, shall observe his commands and his laws and his right rulings, and do not walk after the abominations and after the carved images and after the molded images. Here is a list based on what Abraham did over his life and commanded his children to do as well, that we believe can help us believers to be considered trustworthy by YAHUAH. This is found in Yobelim chapters 20 and 21. Observe the way of YAHUAH. Work righteousness by actively doing good, seeking justice, showing compassion, and obeying YAHUAH's commands. Love your neighbor and act in this manner among all men, each so walking with regard to them as to do right ruling and righteousness on the earth. Do not deviate to the right hand or the left of all the paths which YAHUAH had commanded us. Guard yourself from all whoring and uncleanness. Cling to all his commands.
Do not walk after idols Do not make for yourselves molded or carved mighty ones, and do not serve them nor worship them. Serve and worship the Most High El continually. Trust in Yahuwah's face always. Work uprightness and righteousness before him. Remember Yahuwah and seek to do his desire with all your heart. Walk uprightly in all his ways. Do the desire of him who created you. Another thing we want to mention about being considered trustworthy by Yahuwah is to accept his truth. We know that some of you may have been drawn to this video by the title, or perhaps you were led here by the Most High. Either way, this may be your opportunity to pause and honestly examine your life. We are not asking you to blindly accept what we are saying. Instead, we encourage you to prayerfully examine your heart and take an honest look at your walk. It's easy to recognize shortcomings in others, but we have to be willing to examine ourselves with humility and sincerity. Ask yourself these questions. Do you love truth or do you resist it? Do you seek out truth or ignore it, especially when it challenges what you may have been taught by the worldly system or even in church?
If you have been one to reject the truth of our Father Yahuwah, now is the time to turn, study, and show yourself approved as we are instructed in Timotheus 2, chapter 2, verse 15. We must be trustworthy with the cause of truth, to learn it, understand it, and apply it to our lives. Many today are no longer lovers of truth. Truth often looks like hate to those who hate truth. That is why we emphasize loving, accepting, and seeking the truth, because trustworthy people love and desire the truth of Yahuwah. Those who reject truth cannot be trusted by Yahuwah. Here are a few things that show when a person isn't trustworthy. Those who hate truth. Those who aren't meek and humble. Those who question Yahuwah's way and resist his will, whether outright or because of fear. Those who are prideful. Those who love the world. The fearful and the cowards. Those who don't trust Yahuwah. The disobedient. And those who walk in sin. If you desire to be considered trustworthy by Yahuwah, begin by following the example of Abraham's life. Also, understand this: trustworthiness will be tested. You will go through trials. Because of that, patience must be cultivated.
Here are some practical ways to do this. Trust in Yahuwah's timing. Things may not happen when you want them to, but his timing is always perfect. Draw your strength from Yahuwah. Be strong in Yahuwah and in the power of his might. His strength is sufficient for whatever you face. Obey and stay focused on what Yahuwah's word says, regardless of how you feel. We cannot be led by our emotions. Forgive others if you haven't done so. Forgiveness can be difficult, but we have to remember that Yahuwah has forgiven us, and we are called to do the same. Meditate on the lives of those who were found trustworthy in Scripture. Learn from the examples of those who walked trustworthily before us. Read and study the Word. Study to show yourself approved. Truth must be learned, understood, and applied. Walk in humility and remain teachable. A proud heart resists correction. A trustworthy heart receives instruction. Guard your heart from doubt, fear, double-mindedness, and compromise. Yahuwah cannot trust a divided heart or one easily shaken by circumstances.
Be a lover of truth, even when it challenges long-held beliefs. Trustworthy people do not reject truth because it is uncomfortable. Be fully submitted to Yahuwah. Trustworthy servants submit to his will, even when it conflicts with their own desires. Fear Yahuwah, not man. Cowardice reveals distrust. Reverence for Yahuwah produces obedience. Do what Yahuwah has already instructed you to do. If there is something he has told you to do and you have delayed, now is the time to take action. Reject all forms of idolatry, not just physical idols, but anything you have placed above Yahuwah, such as habits, hobbies, traditions, people, or possessions. Keep covenant and honor every commitment you make to YAHUAH. Trust is built through submission to YAHUAH and follow through. Live with integrity in private, not just in public. A trustworthy servant reveres YAHUAH even when no one else is watching. In the beginning of this video, we said to ask yourself, does YAHUAH consider you trustworthy? Here are some additional questions to help you answer this truthfully. Will you do what YAHUAH asks and be obedient to all his instructions? Do you believe YAHUAH with your total being? Would YAHUAH consider you dependable? Can YAHUAH rely on you? Will you obey YAHUAH even if it costs you everything, including your life? Are you submitted to his complete will? Is there something you know you should be doing that you've ignored? Has YAHUAH led you to do or stop doing something, or to say or stop saying something? While you are thinking on the answers to these questions, be completely honest with yourself because YAHUAH already knows. Please know that these questions are not meant in any way to bring condemnation. It's about taking a moment to be real and examine your heart and motives before YAHUAH.
So now we'll go back to our opening question. Does YAHUAH trust you? If not, what are you going to do about it? If after examining yourself, you realize that you may not be trustworthy to YAHUAH, then begin to make the changes needed by asking him to help you to become trustworthy in his eyes. Believers should strive to be obedient in all areas of life so that YAHUAH can use us as he sees fit. It may be possible that he trusts you in some areas, but not in all areas. So continue to grow, develop, and strengthen your obedience. Remember, trust is earned by being a responsible steward of what he has given and through consistent obedience and commitment to YAHUAH's will. Our actions must follow our belief in all things concerning YAHUAH. In the end, we all desire to hear, "Well done, good and trustworthy servant." Thanks for watching. We hope this video has been helpful to you. If you know someone that could use this information, please share this video. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe. May YAHUAH barak you and guard you. May he make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May YAHUAH lift up his face upon you and give you peace. We love you and are praying for you. Until next time, family. Shalom.